When we recall the story of Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, and the tyrant Pharaoh, a central question arises. What was the fate of Pharaoh's wife? What was her stance toward Moses? How did she play a role in saving him twice? And what happened to her when she secretly believed in Moses? These questions open the doors to a captivating and poignant story, a story of a woman chosen by God to be a light in the darkness of tyranny. She is Asiya bint Muzahim, the wife of Pharaoh, who became one of the greatest women of paradise. Who was Asiya? Asiya bint Muzahim was the daughter of a ruler of one of the kingdoms under Egyptian rule during the era of the pharaohs. Some accounts suggest that she was from the children of Israel, and it is even said that she was the aunt of Moses, peace be upon him. When Pharaoh ascended to power in Egypt, God willed that he marry her. Thus she lived a life of luxury and opulence, yet she witnessed daily the cruelty and tyranny of Pharaoh, who is considered one of the most notorious tyrants in history. The first rescue. The infant Moses. The story begins when a chest carrying the infant Moses floated to Asiya's palace. When she opened the chest and saw the radiant face of Moses, God instilled in her heart an immense love for him. When Pharaoh ordered the child to be killed, Asiya stood up to him, saying, "A comfort to the eye for me and for you. Perhaps he may benefit us, or we may adopt him as a son." Thanks to her insistence, Moses was saved from death for the first time, and Pharaoh agreed to let Asiya raise the child in the palace. The second rescue, the test of the ember. Moses grew up in the palace under Asiya's care. One day, while Pharaoh was playing with him, Moses tugged at Pharaoh's beard with such force that it angered and frightened him, making him see the child as a threat to his throne. Pharaoh wanted to kill him, but Asiya intervened once again, proposing a test, placing a date and a burning ember in front of Moses. She said, "If he takes the date, kill him. But if he takes the ember, spare him, for he is just a child who does not understand." By the will of God, Moses reached for the ember, and thus he was saved once more from Pharaoh's wrath. Secret faith and the struggle with Pharaoh. When Moses, peace be upon him, grew up and returned to Egypt to call Pharaoh and his people to worship God, Asiya secretly believed in Moses, fearing Pharaoh's reaction. However, events escalated when she witnessed the tragedy of Pharaoh's daughter's maid, who openly declared her faith in God before Pharaoh. In response, Pharaoh tortured and killed her along with her children. This event was the final straw for Asiya, and she rose up, publicly declaring her faith in God, defying Pharaoh and his tyranny. Sacrifice and martyrdom. Pharaoh was enraged and tried to tempt her to renounce her faith, but she refused. She had tasted the sweetness of faith, and her heart was filled with the light of certainty. Pharaoh then ordered her to be tortured. They tied her hands and feet with ropes, placed a heavy stone on her back, and left her under the scorching sun. In her final moments, she raised her gaze to the heavens and prayed, "My Lord, build for me near you a house in paradise, and save me from Pharaoh and his deeds, and save me from the wrongdoing people." Historians say that God showed her a glimpse of her home in paradise, and she smiled as she endured the torture. Then her pure soul was taken. Pharaoh, who saw her smile in her final moments, exclaimed in astonishment, "Do you not marvel at her madness? We are torturing her, and she is smiling." Asiya's legacy, a symbol of sacrifice and faith. Asiya bint Muzahim became a symbol of sacrifice and devotion, and one of the greatest women of paradise, as the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "The best of the women of paradise are four: Maryam bint Imran, Khadija bint Khuwailid, Fatima bint Muhammad, and Asiya bint Muzahim." The story of Asiya reminds us that faith can emerge even in the darkest of circumstances, and that sacrifice for the sake of truth can be a path to paradise. Is there anything greater than having a home in paradise as the fruit of your faith and sacrifice?